We were listening to Nat King Cole's Just One of Those Things from Dorian Harewood's rehearsal tapes. Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. Trumpet great Herb Alpert designed one of the most acoustically sound dining rooms in all of LA, and he aptly named it Herb Alpert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz. It's a swanky date night spot tucked into the hills above Bel Air. The lights are kept low. The martinis are ice cold and the jazz factor is high. Just the kind of place to attract locals, celebrities, musicians, and music aficionados looking for a good steak and a bit of stardust. It is in this sacred location, dedicated to the love of music and gathering, that Dorian Harewood, a Tony Award nominee for The Notebook, the musical, and renowned film and television star, will pay tribute to the legendary Nat King Cole this Wednesday, July 9th at 7:30 p.m. Accompanied by Grammy Award-winning musical director, arranger, composer, and conductor Randy Waldman. Dorian will pay tribute to the trailblazing musical genius of Nat King Cole and all that he did to bring love to the world. And couldn't we all use a little more love in our world? Hi, welcome, Dorian.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Appreciate it. So good to be here.
So good to see you. So, a little bit more. Dorian Harewood is a prolific voice actor and has appeared in over 100 productions in film and television. He is known for roles like Jesse Owens in The Jesse Owens Story and Reverend Morgan Hamilton in Seventh Heaven. Dorian Harewood's return to Broadway in The Notebook was a significant event, showcasing his talent and earning him recognition for his performance. Dorian received a 2024 Tony Award nomination for Best Performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical for his portrayal of older Noah. The Notebook marked Harewood's return to Broadway after a 46-year absence. His last appearance was in The Mighty Gents in 1978. Dorian highlighted the musical's ability to encompass the entire human experience: sadness, joy, love, perseverance, and overcoming obstacles. Congratulations on your Tony nomination for The Notebook, the musical. And Dorian, and after such a long absence from Broadway, what did it feel like coming home?
I don't know, Jeremiah. It was first of all, I was just so excited about the project itself, the role and the writing, the cast members, the supremely talented members of the cast. It's a very unique musical. So I was just basically so involved in that I didn't even think about the fact that I hadn't been on Broadway for 46 years. And the funny thing is, we were doing it at a theater called the Gerald Schoenfield Theater, and it was right in the next block from where I first started on Broadway in New York way back in 1972, where I met my wife, my future wife, and still wife. We met back in late '72. We both did a musical called Two Gentlemen of Verona. At the time, I had just come to New York, and I got a job working on that. And I met Nancy at the time, and then a couple shows later, we started dating. We did another musical together. So it was all it was all very surreal to get back on Broadway after all that time. But it felt like, I don't know. They say it's kind of like riding a bike. If you do it, you still know how to do it. And for me, more importantly, because I'd been away from Broadway, but I'd still been doing some musicals and some plays away from Broadway. I worked with Chita Rivera, toured nationally with her, and Kiss of the Spider Woman, and I did some other stuff over the years. So it was, um, fortunately for me, I'd still been doing theater, but to have it to be back on Broadway after all that time, I still don't I still don't know how it happened, but it was a wonderful experience.
Is it a little bit like going back to high school and walking the halls of your high school or an elementary school, or is it a little bit like the smells come back and everything looks smaller and but the memories just come rushing back to you?
That's it. The memories. That's the biggest thing, Jeremiah. They just I'm still thinking of all of the years that I spent in New York and the Broadway shows that I did and just theater in general. And just it just reignited my and reconfirmed my love for music and musicals.
Hmm.
For me, that's my first love. Music is my first love. So to do a musical, to combine the acting with the singing and that kind of thing, there's nothing like it. But definitely the memories really flowed back, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I'm very, very grateful that I had a chance to do it last year.
Was it special for your wife as well, I imagine, going back together?
Absolutely. She came out several times during the year because we live in Pasadena near Los Angeles. So that's the biggest drawback from last year was that I was away from my family for a
Mm.
year. And I'm a grandfather. We've got three very young grandkids, and I missed basically the first year of
Uh,
their lives. So that I really missed. But fortunately, because of FaceTime and the technology, we were able to see each other every day. But my wife was out here a lot, out there in New York with me, and so it was there were a lot of memories from that too, from our time being
mhm.
in New York. So it was just a great experience,
And
really.
adding some new memories as well.
Yeah.
Why were you gone so long? If it's such a love, it validated it, it reminded you, as you said, but why do you think you were gone from theater and music so long?
Well, I think the main reason, in fact, I know the main reason is that I went when I went to New York back in late '72 and started working on Broadway and doing musicals. I went there to do musicals. But then a crucial turning point came for me when I auditioned for and got the lead role in a musical called Miss Moffat. That was a musical that was going to go to Broadway, starring the late great Betty Davis, the legendary actress
Hmm.
Betty Davis. I got the part, and she is the one that talked me into acting. Long story short, I got the role. It was a musical that she was doing, a musical version of a movie she had done called The Corn is Green, and so they were doing a musical version of that. And I auditioned for the role of the young student of her character, Miss Moffat, and I got the part. And she said, "I really loved your singing, but I really liked what you did acting wise. Had you ever thought about just straight acting?" And I told her at the time, I said, "No, I never really thought about acting. I love music, and that's what I've been doing. And so, no, I've never thought about it." She said, "Well, you really need to think about it because you've got good instincts. They're very much like mine, and you'd be cheating yourself if you didn't at least explore dramatic acting." And I said, "Gosh, well, coming from you, I got to take that. I have to
Yeah.
take that advice seriously." So I told her, I said, "Listen, this show is going to be a hit, but after the show has had its run, I will take your advice and I will look into straight acting because if someone like you tells me to do it, I have to check it out." Unfortunately, um, she hurt her back and the show did not make it to New York, so we closed prematurely out of town. But I took her advice, Jeremiah, and I tried auditioned for my very first acting job based on Betty's advice. I got the job. It was a lead in a Broadway play. I got the lead part, auditioned for it, and the show opened and closed the same night.
Oh no.
Opened and closed the same night. But I won an award, a Theater World Award, Theater World Award for Best Newcoming Actor, and
Hey,
Betty
and one
Davis.
performance. That's
Yeah,
great.
one performance, and Betty Davis picked up the award for me because I was doing something. I had another job out.
Oh, wow.
I'd gotten taken picked up to do a movie in Los Angeles, and Betty Davis went and picked up my Theater World Award. And the Theater World Award community is still excited about that. Way back when, they didn't care about me, but to have Betty Davis come up and pick up the award is.
That's
But
a
she was,
pretty that's a
yeah, but
pretty cool move.
I know, but she is the reason that I've been away from
Mm,
musicals so long, and even Broadway, because I took her advice. I tried acting. I jumped right into acting, thankfully, and after that Broadway show that I did, some people from Hollywood had seen me in the previews, and they hired me to do a movie out in California. I was off and running as a dramatic actor, and I've been doing it ever since. But it was because of Betty, um, and so
that's
that's why I've been away from Broadway.
okay. That's such a great story.
Yeah,
And looking back now, I mean, you've obviously your career choices and the work speaks for itself, and you've done some really great work.
yeah, thanks.
But do you think about that comment that she made that you have what it takes, you have good instincts, and that you should pursue that? Are you happy that you took her advice?
I'm very happy that I took her advice, Jeremiah. Even though, like I said, music is my first love. I had gotten some recording offers in New York when I was there. I didn't take them because I read the contracts and they weren't very good.
Hmm.
Uh, so in a way, I think I was kind of saved by Betty in getting into acting, which at least had unions and they had some protective kind of contracts and deals, as opposed to the record industry, which was very, very rough. But I, I do know that had she not talked me into acting, I would have been a singer in some form. I may have been a frustrated singer. I may have gotten screwed on some contract. I don't know what would have happened, but I do feel that things happen for a reason, and I think that she basically saved me from maybe some bad mistakes in the record industry at that time. That was a long time ago. It's a totally different world
Right.
now as with records, but at that time it was pretty rough. A lot of people made it, but they didn't make any money. They were totally ripped off by the record companies, et cetera, et cetera. So it was pretty frustrating for a lot of big stars.
I really believe that, and it makes sense now to me that she told you you have great instincts because I was looking through your catalog of your film or in your television and your music, and I thought to myself, he must have some really great advisors. It feels like because you make good choices, and where some people it looks like they take work because you just have to survive. It
Yeah,
feels like your work, your body of work builds on one after another, and that you've had, as she said, great instincts for choosing projects and choosing roles that really spoke to you and then spoke to your audience. I liked that there was a mention of that you were recognized in the Notebook for being able to encompass the entire human experience. Sadness, joy, love, perseverance, and overcoming obstacles. Those are lessons, though. Sadness, joy, love, perseverance, overcoming obstacles. Those are lessons learned over a lifetime, and they could not be portrayed by an actor, I don't think, without those life experiences of their own. To
totally agree.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so in your own life, did your perseverance and your ability to overcome, anything that was thrown at you? You chose a very hard career, and there were many obstacles, I'm sure. But have they led you to joy and love?
Well, all of that, all of my life experiences have fed me and have given me the experiences I have used for whatever whatever decisions I've made. You know, I've learned things, I've
Mhm.
made mistakes, And it's just the life experiences is it's invaluable. But my instincts that Betty talked about, I really trusted what she said about my instincts being a lot like hers, and that I should really trust them and fight for them, even if a director wanted to do something else. She said, that she had many fights with directors about what she really felt was right. So I took her advice, and that's helped me immensely in my career. But as far as the choices and the right um, kind of moves in my career, I have to humbly credit my wife, Nancy, for that, because she not only is she a terrific actor, and we later on, as we got married and then we started having kids, so she was focusing more on that and her writing. But her instincts were terrific, and she's always been the one that has guided me in the right direction. Um, Betty talked me into acting, but Nancy basically has been the one that helped me. There was one role, one of the best roles that I ever played in New York, a role called Streamers. It was a play called Streamers, and I didn't want to do the role. This was early on in my acting career. Betty had talked me into acting, and there was this role that came up, and I told Nancy, my wife, at the time we were going together, and I said, I don't know. I haven't done much acting, but I don't think not only can I do this, I don't really see it. But she told me and why I should do it, and how, what it
Hmm.
would do, and not so much for my career, but she knew that I could do this role. It was a really crazy character, nothing like me personally, but she said that she said I could do it, and that's been a role that has affected so many people, including the director of The Notebook. He saw it when he was like 18 years old, and he was uh, impressed by that. Even way back then, he was telling me about it, about how he'd seen that play, the Streamers. But I would never have done that role, never have done it if it weren't for my wife, Nancy, her advice. Because I didn't know enough about it. I was just a singer, and I said,
Hmm.
I don't know if I want to do that. So that's happened more than once. So I have good instincts acting wise, but maybe not so good in choosing the roles.
Well, you have a great advisor, and there's the love right there.
Terrific, yeah,
Love, yeah.
yeah,
And the
love and
support and
trust,
and the trust, yeah.
yeah,
What did
and
go? I'm sorry.
and she just knows all about it. I mean, she's a better actor than I am, I tell you that. And
Well, it
she
sounds like
really,
she knows you really well
yeah, and she
too.
does, she does.
But
She's
what you
terrific.
would thrive in. What did success look like to you then, as compared to now? What does success look like to you right now compared to what when you're in your youth, when you were just starting out?
In my youth, the success happened extremely quickly. I mean, I was working. I got my first job in New York at Carnegie Hall less than 2 weeks after I arrived in New York. I got my first job, so I've been blessed with getting a lot of good work for different reasons. But the point is, I've been very blessed with a lot of work. So, um, fortunately for me, once again, once I met and worked with Betty, once she was my mentor. She talked me into acting, but she was also my mentor in showing me how you could be as big as you want to be without being and I call it an a-hole,
Hmm.
without being a jerk. She said, "Look, you don't have to have all these people around you. You don't have to do all this and that. That's just part of the other stuff. What you want to do is just do the work, and be yourself, and just trust yourself, and not get away from what you're doing." So she basically showed me without even telling me so much how I could be as big as I wanted to be in the business and still be level-headed, which Betty was. A lot of people didn't know her personally, but they knew the movie, or the public image. But she was just a simple uh, kind of New England farm girl, she said, uh, and she just did the work and did the best work that she could on the roles. So that really helped me to keep my feet on the ground. And the directors and people that I worked with also helped in that way. The Mike Nichols, people like those. There are a lot of people that really helped me to know that I didn't have to become a certain type in order to survive in the business. And then the most important thing, Jeremiah, for me was this was fun. This was terrific. All these things that I got really quickly and all that stuff. But for me, it was just work. It wasn't my life. Show business was my job. It was the thing I did. I was very grateful. I was very excited about, and I'm still excited about the things that I'm doing in show business. But that's all it is. It's just my work. It's not,
Mhm.
I don't hang out with people. I'm not a big show business crazy person. I don't care about a lot of public stuff. I don't, a lot of that stuff. A lot of the stuff that I'm interested in is just kind of mundane stuff to other people. I love playing pool. I love playing blackjack. I like bowling. That kind of stuff. So
Thanks for
that's
the warning.
my family. What do you say?
I said, thanks for the heads up. I'm not going to play you in any of those if we
No,
ever see each other.
no. I'm a horrible bowler. I just love doing it.
I
But
am too. I'll
but I
play
mean,
that with you.
yeah,
I'll,
but it's that kind of thing for me. My life is my family, my loved ones, and what I do away from any of the show business stuff. The show business stuff, the work, all that stuff, that's just the work that I'm extremely grateful for, but I've never gotten overwhelmed by it or never gotten taken up in that whole thing.
that leads to joy and love.
Yes.
Well,
And
uh, we're playing throughout the show today for the listeners. We're playing songs that you or your son actually, I think, sent in for you on your behalf, a playlist. And then we're also playing, like right now, I'm going to play Stardust. It's from your rehearsal tapes for
oh, oh,
show.
oh,
Yeah, at
yeah,
the Vibrato Grill and Jazz, her
yeah,
album coming up. It's a tribute to Nat King Cole.
yeah.
Here's Stardust,
Well,
and I'm looking up some fun facts about it. This song's been recorded over 1,500 times.
beautiful song, beautiful song.
It is beautiful. So let's listen to that for a second here.
Okay.
Okay, that was beautiful. Dorian Harewood. That's so amazing. This is going to be a great show. If this if this sizzle reel this rehearsal reel that I watched is any indication, this is going to be a really outstanding tribute to
Oh,
Nat
well, I'm
King Cole.
glad. I'm glad that you like the sizzle reel. I'm more excited and so excited about that music that Nat gave to the world with his gorgeous voice. These terrific writers, the composers, the lyricists. I'm celebrating all of those people that
Hmm.
helped Nat King Cole bring this beauty to the world, and the world needs it, more than ever now. Just love and respect and kindness and just good feelings. We need that. And Nat was just he was a Pied Piper for love and understanding and and dignity. That's the way he was.
Well, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about Nat King Cole a little bit more and this great show. Question before the break: If Dorian, if your fingertips and your fingerprints were to represent your contribution to art, where and on what are you most proud to have left them?
What am I most? I'm sorry, it kind of got
Yeah,
phased out.
where are you most proud to have left what you've touched in your life as you've traveled through life? Where are you most proud of to have contributed to? And
I'm most proud of being able to affect people in a positive way. I don't um, I don't spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out why people are affected in a positive way by my work, whether it's acting or singing or writing or that kind of thing. But I do know that, in fact, my piano teacher once told me, Um, she's the one that talked me into singing, by the way, way back when I was in high school. Uh, I did something and people wanted the autograph and autographs and stuff. And I told my teacher, I said, well, I don't understand why they want my autograph. I mean, I'm just doing this stuff. And she said, don't don't question why they want your autograph. Just accept it, appreciate it, and go with it, because they are the ones that are supporting you, and they are the ones that are being moved by you. So do not insult them by belittling their affection for what you're doing, whether you like it or not, whether you understand it or not. So I've always felt, well, I'm not going to try to figure out why somebody likes my stuff. I just know that fortunately, I've been given the ability to affect people personally in a positive way, and that's the footprint that I'm glad to have left. And I'm very excited to finally be able to leave more of my music, my voice, and my singing footprint out in the world. I've told the universe or the creator or whatever you want to call it. I said, look, I know I've got this talent that you've given me. I haven't had much time to work on it or do it because of the acting, but I'm glad now that I got a chance to at least do that. Um, so that's what I'm excited about as far as leaving a footprint, a positive, something positive that makes people feel
Mhm.
better about themselves and about their existence.
Mm, love it. Dorian Harewood. This is Show Me One More Time. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You can follow Dorian on Instagram at official Dorian Harewood. It's DorianHarewood. Official Dorian Harewood. And his website, dorianharewood.com. Dorian Harewood, Tony Award nominee for The Notebook, the musical, and film and television star, will pay tribute to the legendary Nat King Cole on Wednesday, July 9th at 7:30 p.m. at Herb Albert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz. Dorian pays tribute to this musical genius and trailblazer, Nat King Cole, and all that he did to bring love to our world. Dorian performs many of Nat King Cole's iconic and timeless songs, including Unforgettable, When I Fall in Love, Route 66, Just One of Those Things, Mona Lisa, and I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. Dorian Harewood will be accompanied by Grammy Award winner Randy Waldman, world renowned musical director, arranger, composer, and conductor. Again, it's Wednesday, July 9th at 7:30 p.m. at Herb Albert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz on 2930 Beverly Glen Circle, Los Angeles, California. You can make a reservation by telephone 310 474 9400, or you can buy your tickets online at vibratogrilljazz.com. And we'll be right back with more Dorian Harewood. And again, this is Show Me One More Time.